Hello everybody and welcome out to episode 121 of the Save Slot 3 Gamescast. I'm your host, Eof Gizmo, joined me by Massive Das.
Hello everyone.
And Mr. Craig being Craig.
Hi Dave.
So boys, another week over, as they say. No Canada talk this week because I've been in sunny old Somerset for a week. We've had rain, we've had sunshine, we've had the lot. Just need some snow. And then I think we're fully covered, Craig.
It's some excitement now, haven't there?
Yeah, right. So let's start this glorious episode with what we always started with, the Pengle's news desk. Time for some news.
There's 6 items now on the news.
Baker's dozen.
Item number 1. Well, actually, Evo has started, and one of the things from Evo is SNK versus Capcom SVC Chaos has returned. It is out right now on PC, if you want to play it on PC, and it's coming to Switch and PS4 on July 22nd. It's £16.75 on Steam, so I guess it's going to be similar on the Switch and PS4, and it's now got rollback, netcode, and all that good stuff. Did you play it back in the day, Davey, on your original Xbox?
I did, and this is a very random announcement that it's not coming to Xbox.
I'm guessing it's, well, I think it's an SNK's, even though it's SNK versus Capcom, because I know the problem with the Capcom games like Marvel vs. Capcom Collection is because it's using some old engine that's not Xbox compatible. So I'm guessing this is the same thing here. And the new engine is not PS5 compatible, hence why it's a PS4 title, not a PS5 title. So I'm guessing it's the same thing. You would know more than me, Dave, on that thing. But
yeah, that's the reason. Strange, but I guess that is a reason at least.
That's the reason there's no Monster Hunter, no Marvel vs. Capcom from Capcom. Again, why there's no native PS4 versions of those games. But yeah. But then it shows, I guess, the lack of interest of the Xbox One when they never done that engine compatible for that. But yeah. I guess you're not bothered about this one, Craig, being a 2D fighter.
No, as you boys can both attest to, I am fucking dreadful at fighting games.
You are, Craigo.
Absolutely wank. I think I beat Pengles a couple of times, which, but that's about all I can summon in these sort of games.
Yes, and I expect there might be more news to come from Evo and stuff over the coming days.
It's all about 2x KO from Riot. That's what we're there to watch, Pengi, at Evo.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually is at Evo. It might be shown.
Evo. I've been watching the 2x KO live streams from Evo. So,
how many people are taking part in that?
I think it's like a round robin. It's like 32 maybe. But
no, I mean overall entrance, because I know when they were showing the Evo like entrance, like Mortal Kombat 1 only had like 200 entrants or something. I was like, what? I could enter only 200 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine you'd struggle to get in the top 200, Pengi.
Yeah, I know, but compared to like whatever was like Tekken 6 had like 2,000 entrants or something, like I don't know. Yeah. Number 2 on the news: EA Sports FC 25 will be coming to the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PC, Switch on September 27th. When it has Jude Bellingham as the cover star this year. Either of you keen for some EA Sports SC25?
No, Pengles. I broke that addiction in 2016. I still haven't bought one since, and I am not going back to that life. Pengles.
It has a new mode. They've replaced Volta with the Rush mode, which is 5 versus 5, and they basically like saying get 4 mates together. You pick a player each, sort of thing, and obviously the computer does the goalkeeper and sort of thing. But that's about it I've really seen on it. What about you, Dave? Because I know you wanted us to try to play FC24, and we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I'll play these games when they come to like Game Pass or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm not spending £70 on a sports game anytime soon.
Cool. Number 3, we talked about this one last week. Emio is now an official thing. It's Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, and it will come August 29th for the Switch. It's the first new Famicom Detective Club game in 35 years. We have had remakes of the two games on Switch, but yeah, what's your thoughts on this? Now, this is what it is, Dave.
I mean, I think it's somewhat disappointing because I think we were hoping it'd be something like a new IP, but it's interesting they've gone back to Famicom Detective Club and a more like adult game. So yeah, I mean, it's not really for people like me, to be honest with you, either way. But I think if you like those type of games, I think it's a cool, high quality game, and you never know, like it might be the start of a new sub-series for Nintendo. So
yeah, and I guess you're not going to be turning on any sort of Switch for this, Craig.
Absolutely not. Is it a buy from you, though, Pengles? You like to buy random stuff like this now?
No, I haven't even played the remakes of which is a double pack and stuff. So this is very unlikely. And August 29th, I feel there's something. Visions of Madness that day. So yeah, no, that's not.
Oh, was out. It was just the day before, was right, I think.
No, it's the day after. It's the day after.
Day after, yeah.
Yeah. So it's passed for me on that one. One maybe for you, Craig. The casting of Frank Stone will be released on September 3rd for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So this is the supermassive, cinematic story game set in the Dead by Daylight universe. And I know you do like the Quarries and the Dark Anthology games and that. And I remember you think you were even going to play Until Dawn, from what I remember. So is casting Frank Stone something up your alley, Craig?
Maybe. I did play a tiny bit of Dead by Daylight as well. It's a fun little game, in fairness. So yeah, it'd be on the radar, but I do suspect this is the tail end of this year. I feel is going to get very busy. Very soon.
I feel September 3rd is 3 days before Astrobot. So, and I feel
Stalker's around then as well.
Yeah.
There's I think the second part of this year is going to be a little bit silly. There's going to be a lot of big, long games coming out all next to each other. So I feel like this is one that could get it's come out and forgotten about, in honesty. But it's cool. I mean, I'm sure it'll be of a decent quality. Maybe one that you play in 6 months' time when it comes to Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever.
Yeah. What about you, Dave?
No, I'm good.
No. Didn't think it would be your sort of thing. You kind of alluded to this earlier when you said you wouldn't be spending 70 quid on a sports game, but what about $100 on a sports game? Because 2.2 million copies have been sold at $100 for college football 25, and a further 600,000 people played the 10-hour trial of that. So a very popular game. So people don't like $70 games, but they do like $100 games, it seems, Dave.
Yeah, it's crazy to see. I mean, it's the first one in
13 years
or whatever. So yeah, it's cool to do well. We'll see what the overall sales are. I imagine it just means they're going to be making one next year and the year after. But again, it's not physical here, so I'm not trying it for 90 quid or whatever.
Why is it so expensive? What?
It was the they do the deluxe edition.
3 days early access.
Yes, 3 day early access. So they sold 2.2 million of the early access copy, which is $100.
That's quite impressive, to be fair.
Right.
Yeah, and they had a further 600,000 play the trial. So they've had 2.8 million players before the game even actually officially came out. So I don't know if I count as one of those 600,000 because I've downloaded the trial, but I've not played it. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty impressive sort of thing. So see how it does after that. Is it one of the things everyone that wanted it has bought it for the $100, or is there going to be more further down the line?
I wonder. So obviously this is coming out fairly soon, I imagine. Then. I don't know, what time of year does Madden normally come out?
It's next month. It's August. It's literally a month later. They did a double pack as well.
Do you think they try and do it almost 6 months apart, so you get like double whammy. Because obviously Madden sells like fucking crazy as well. So like, yeah, to be rolling in it with these American football games, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how many people have bought the double pack. They haven't really said that, and I guess some of the 2.2 million could have been the double pack where you were saving. I can't remember how much you were saving by buying them both together, sort of thing. Yeah,
It's a weird one because I don't know how you manage that. Because like you imagine there will be some like cannibalization there, where people buy one or the other.
Yeah.
And you'd want to
because if
spread them
I
out a bit
was
to
to
avoid
buy
that.
one, I would buy the college football one because it's new and different. Where Madden, it's Madden similar to last year, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some crossover. I think you can import players from your
you
college
can,
game.
or you used to be able to.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
pretty
old
sure
one.
I've read that you can. It's just a whole different subsection though, isn't it? Because like,
So you could get Travis Hunter really good at something in college football and then transfer him over
yeah,
to.
exactly. But yeah, it's kind of. I think the NCAA game is kind of like the American equivalent of like Football Manager. Like it's the hardcore game. Like it will sell like 10, 15 million
Because it's all
copies or
about
whatever.
making you like tier 5 college all the way up to like tier 1 or whatever in there and stuff like that, and getting all the like drafting and stuff for getting scholarships or whatever. And the last one, Diablo 4's Spiritborn class has been shown off, and any of the new DLC or just the class, Dave?
Yeah, I think it was both, if I recall. Yeah, we'll go to Craig on this because he's much more of an expert. But yeah, it looked good from what I watched. But what was your opinion of it, Craigo?
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole because it's like an hour of like just talky after they showed it off. So I didn't watch all of it. But yeah, I thought the class that they showed looked amazing. It's kind of like it's obviously all Diablo classes have like the little subclasses, but this is kind of got like it's like 4 in 1 essentially. So you got the 4 different kind of like summons that you have. I think it's an eagle, a gorilla, a centipede, and a leopard or a jaguar. Which all look pretty cool. They all do different things. I think the gorilla's more tanky. The centipede's like a poison build.
Okay, so as someone that's not watched it, I sort of knew a little bit of. I thought it was a little bit of like the druid, where you're turning into a bear, but it sounds a little bit more like your necromancer. But
Yeah,
instead of
it's more of
summoning
like a
10
summon sort of thing. Yeah.
instead of summoning 10 skeletons, you're summoning like one big creature. Is that how it?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they necessarily like run around like the necromancers summons do. It's more of like a AoE attack or something like that.
Okay.
But it does look very, very cool. And the whole setting is the new area is going to be like a jungle area. They really, I know they had Rod Ferguson on kind of funny, who's saying how they really wanted to link the setting with the class this time round. So it seems looks very cool, very exciting.
So will you be buying Vessel of Hatred?
I'm possibly because I think it's 35.
Something like
When
that.
I had a look, and I do have £25. No, I have £10 worth of like the Xbox reward points.
Yeah.
Because I seem to just be getting endless amounts of them at the moment because I'm playing so many Game Pass games. So I could get it for like 25 potentially. And I am enjoying our Diabloing, so yeah, possibly. So yeah, it looks very cool. Diablo seems to be on a little roll at the moment, which is nice, right? It's good to see a good game like that getting good continued support.
Absolutely.
What about you, Pengi? Any interest, or I guess you probably want to play more?
Yeah, I've got to play more of Diablo 4 first. What I've played of it, I've liked and stuff like that. Others, sort of thing. It's just been, as you say, too many games and stuff at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
that could be the concern because it's October, right? And God knows what else is in October at this point.
I got lots of stuff, most probably.
Yeah.
And that is the news. Unless Dave has found us any more.
No more news. It's a pretty slow news week. This week.
It's like there's a conference coming up in a month's time again.
Yeah, right. But it happens.
Yeah.
So we also don't have, obviously there's no news. There's not a lot to talk about this week. So we're gonna quickly have a look at our fantasy draft and how we've done at this point. So I believe all of the slots are now filled. They are. So let's go through where we are at the minute. So currently, leading the line, it's Mr. Chris Pengelly with 160 points.
Yep. Yeah, boy.
I think I'm in second with 116. And then Craigo is slightly behind with 81. But yeah, looking at what we got, there's quite a lot. Obviously, Craig has most of his list to go. And has he done all of his? Yeah, and I think he's basically, he won't get any more deductions now through counter picks. Same for me, whereas Pengi's kind of hoping that Space Marine is terrible.
I don't think it's going to be in fairness.
No, I don't think it will.
Quite hyped for that game.
But yeah, so how are you boys feeling about your fantasy picks and what remains Craigo?
So just looking at my team now, every year we've done this, it's been someone will run away and then someone will basically come from nowhere at the end, right? So I'm going for that by the looks of it, because I really am leaving it all very, very late. I think
I've got 13 games to come out still.
Yeah, I think the problem I may end up having is there might be too many that just don't come. Obviously, Silk Song is looking very dubious right now. Mina the Hollower is looking very, very dubious.
Yeah, they didn't even say any sort of date when they had their little showcase. That lot, and there was nothing.
Yeah, and Rise of the Golden Idol, that's still not got a date. I've not seen or heard anything about that either. Although the first one did come to Game Pass recently.
And it's coming to PlayStation this week as well.
Which makes you think they're doing that for a reason, right? Right, boys, that's some copium right there. But I feel like everything else I've got is going to do well. It's just whether enough stuff comes. Because I think Flight Sim 2024 will be big points. Metaphor ReFantasia will be big points. I think Avowed would be solid. Frostpunk 2 would be big points because PC freaks love that shit, right? World of Goo would be big points, I would imagine. Indiana Jones, I think.
World of Goo? Yeah, it's August.
Yeah, soon. Indiana Jones, I think, would be solid for points. Same with Age of Mythology, and that's not far away either. And Astrobot would be massive points, boys. That's gonna be monster points right there. Yeah. And then Dragon Quest II, I think that's got a date as well, doesn't it? Yeah. So I think for me, obviously I kind of picked Shantae as well, which I don't think I'd done last time we looked at this. Which, looking at it now, that has been counterpicked to fuck on the counterpick percent. It's got 26%, which is more than it's actually been published, which is quite funny. So for me, it's basically is my second half of the year going to be enough to catch up with Pengels?
Yeah. I guess your problem is if Silk Song and Mina don't get dated for 2025, you drop them. So that's 2-0 points there.
Yeah. My dream scenario, and this is just for the drama of it, would be that we get to the Game Awards in, is it early December?
Yeah, it's always early December.
That's when they're both there and they both get announced for next year, and I have 2 or 3 weeks to frantically drop them and try and find something for some points. That's the dream scenario, and right,
especially
boys?
If it's I'm still in the lead and you're 10 points behind or something, you got to think I got to find 2 76s or something to win.
Yeah, I'm looking at some fucking shitty indie Christmas game going, God, is this going to get me anything? That's what we want, right? Yeah. I'm still somewhat confident, but yeah, I need a lot to happen. And then looking at the upcoming releases, I think 5 of the 10 is all me. So that's promising. That's what I want to see at this point, right? But I need dates. I need dates and stuff as well. So Indiana Jones and Avowed. I still think will come this year, but I obviously just need some dates for them. But yeah,
hopefully that'll be at Gamescom with the Xbox's big showing. You'd think for those.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I still feel somewhat confident. It's just it's whether I have enough fucking points coming. What about you, Pengi? How do you feel about your team?
Yeah, so mine. So obviously, I got nearly all my points already for this year. And so you go from what hasn't got points. So obviously Shantae is a weird one. So obviously they're now putting on here. That's 2025. Will not release this year. But the last time it was shown, it was at the limited run showcase, and they said 2025. But that's for physical on PS5, Xbox, Switch, etc. And Way Forward tweeted out it's still coming in 2024, and I've not seen anything since then. So I don't really know what is happening for that. So that could come out, it might not come out. But going for it, it's not coming out, so that's 0. Obviously, Mars at Midnight is 0. Aria History Untold, I think could do. Well, it's going to get me 7 or 8 points, most probably. So really, I've got Assassin's Creed, Lego, and Zelda. Zelda will get me points. It's just, will it be a 90 plus Zelda, or will it just be like an 88, 89 sort of thing? Lego Horizons and Assassins, they're going to be, decent 80 plus games, like 82s, 83s, most probably, I would think. So I could see me getting another. I could see me maybe just going over the 200 mark, but maybe not.
I think you maybe will. Although your counterpick might drag you back down.
Yeah. So yeah, if that's like an 80 or something, that would put me back down to like 180. So yeah, which would then put me 100 points in front of you at the moment. So it's and then obviously Dave, I think yours is weirdly like you got a lot to come, but don't know how well anything will actually do of what you've got to come.
I think if all mine comes out, I'll win. If Plucky Squire comes out, that's gonna do good numbers.
Yeah, that's how the teaser trailer this week, and still no date. Still no date.
Reassured us it's coming this year. Star Wars Outlaws,
there
I
was
think, will do okay.
hands-on previews as well for it.
Yeah.
So.
Like my only maybes are, to be honest with you, in my opinion, Star Wars Outlaws and Dragon Age.
Yeah.
The rest, I think, are like guaranteed positive points. And they can be.
See, I think COD
really
is your biggest. I think your COD's your biggest problem.
If COD gets a bad score, it's because it's an Xbox studio now. That's the only reason. There's no reason why that game should get a bad score.
I don't know. CODs haven't reviewed quite well for a while, haven't they? I don't think
Modern Warfare 3 reviewed relatively badly compared because of the campaign, but the one before it was fine. Cold War did okay.
Did it?
Yeah, Cold War did okay. Craig, I'm pretty sure people like the campaign and the multiplayer in Cold War.
Cold War's got 75.
That's whether reviewers like it.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't like, no offense, like, I don't like just pulling random indie games that I've never heard of, because it just doesn't, I just don't see the point. I don't think that's interesting. So I'd rather be like, okay, well, I like that game. If
Modern Warfare 3 got 58, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that was a different team. No, you can call it Copium, but I think it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like, the only one I'm worried about is Star Wars Outlaws because it's Ubisoft, and Ubisoft never gets good reviews even if their games are good. And that's the same for Assassin's Creed for you.
I think
80 or
I think Assassin's Creed and Star Wars could cancel each other out. They could get the same sort of score. So I don't gain any, you don't gain anything on them. So that's the thing. So then it's like, is my Lego Horizon is next to Call of Duty on your list? I think, is it going to get higher than Call of Duty? Zelda's going to get better than Life is Strange as much as I like.
I mean, for me, missing out on Astrobot has probably killed my year. Because Craig outbid me on Astrobot. Because I think if I'd had Astrobot instead of Life is Strange, then I think I'd be really, really confident that I'd win. Like, really, really confident. Because I think Astrobot's going to do a 90 plus. I think Dragon Quest will do a 90 plus as well. So, Craig's problem is if stuff doesn't come out, I think he's already been screwed by Earthblade, but then it's not been counterpicked. So, cool. But yeah, if Silksong doesn't come out, then I think you'll struggle. But if it does, I think you might sneak Pengi at the end. To be honest, I think, like I said, Astrobot and Dragon Quest could both be 90 plus. So could Silksong. What else have you got on here? Metaphor Fantasia could be 90 plus. You
got to think if Persona 3 Reload's got an 88 with 18, and then where's the other one? And Unicorn's also got an 88 with 18, which I got. Yet Metaphor's the big one this year. Do you think it should, in theory, be higher?
Yeah, and Craig's only problem.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much higher, but you'd think it's
Well,
going
even
to
if
be
it
higher
was the
than
same, that would be great. You know what I mean? Like Craig's problem is he's got a lot of Xbox Studio games that will always get under-reviewed, which is not even me being biased. It's literally proven if you go through. So like Indiana Jones and particularly Avowed could be anything. It could be
I think Valve's going
88
to
or
be
it could be 65.
See, I think Avowed's going to be like a 78, 79. I don't think Indie will get like that dot. I think that could still be like an 86 or something. But I think Avowed, I just got this weird feeling with that, and it's why I'm also saying mostly Aria's only going to get me like maybe a 77, because obviously it's going to be weird PC players reviewing it and stuff like that. Being
But yeah, I mean,
I can't.
what can we say about reviewers, Craig? When I can see that Open Roads has a 70.
Yeah, that's
It's just
pretty
0 point.
damning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of
reviews.
what the
critics.
Integrity of this shit going on here.
Right.
But
Like I got Hellblade 81, which obviously seems low to me. But then I also think Rise of the Ronin 77 is really low as well. So
yeah, it's been a strange year for game reviews. But yeah, that's fantasy. We will come back at the end. I think probably in a couple of months we'll fill in.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, we've got no pickups
like
now. So it'll be the
October or something.
The last couple of
Pretty
games
much
will be when it's worth talking about. I think.
Yeah, and I haven't got a game until September, Aria, so loads.
Yeah, I mean you have to wait till Zelda's the big one for you. Zelda does well, then I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what Link's Awakening remake got, to be honest.
No, but it's not going to be less than 75, is it? It's going to review better than.
Well, bad Zeldas get like really high scores.
Right, Craig. Let's move on to what we've been buying and playing. Let's start with you, Craig.
Right. So I've played quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
I've been a busy boy. I'll start on PlayStation. I've finally finished Toshia Boys.
Woo!
Which actually I was literally like 5 minutes from the end from where I'd left it last time I spoke about it.
Nice.
So I just needed to roll. I had like a little ball rolling puzzle to do, and then walk forward a bit, and I was like, oh, it's done. I was like, oh, okay, I probably should have just finished it when I was last playing it, really. I finished that off on the Portal, and then I started Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is on the backlog challenge for me. Again, I've been playing it pretty much exclusively on the Portal, which I have now as well. Like wall plug hardwired my PlayStation now.
Hell yeah.
Which does seem to be making a big significant difference for the Portal. I think when I spoke about it before, I was saying how I'll get really good performance from it, but then it'd be inconsistent, it will drop down. Whereas now it just seems to be consistently pretty damn good. So it's making the Portal a lot more usable, more of the time now, which is nice. But yeah, Kena Bridge Spirits, really good. I think Dave started it fairly recently as well. I was quite positive about it. But yeah, it's very pretty. It sounds great, even on the Portal, which doesn't have the best audio, in all honesty. It seems quite basic in the combat and that, but it kind of fits the game. It kind of feels like more of a puzzly action adventure game. So it's going to have really hard combat. But it just oozes charm. The animations are so good. The voice acting's brilliant. And you just kind of you're just cheering for the characters because it's all so well done. I'm still quite early on. I'm still helping the little brother sprite things. I don't know if that's what you call them, Dave. Try and find their older brother.
Yeah, I just the little dudes.
And they are so just adorable and cute. You're like, oh, I'm just rooting for everyone in this game. It's great. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. When you complete your little area, then it transforms back in front of you, back to gets rid of the corruption, that sort of thing. So yeah, I've not played a huge amount of it, but from what I've played so far, I am very impressed. And I think it's one that none of us has finished, right? So I feel like it's one that we would all like. So yeah, I would recommend it. Obviously, Dave's already played a fair bit of it, but yeah, definitely I'd recommend it to Pengals as well.
Yeah, I got into the trap of I stopped playing it because I went somewhere, I did something, and now I loaded it up and I was like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah.
And how do I do it?
Yeah. So quite a good map system though, so it's not too bad. It kind of does prompt you fairly well as where you're going. So you might be able to get back into it if you wanted to. And then on PlayStation, that's pretty much all I played. I've a tiny bit more of Concord. Which we played the other night, the first night of the open beta. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of getting a little bit. I was getting a little bit bored of it already. I was starting to find it a bit to use a word that we use in the group chat quite a lot, quite mid. I don't know about you boys. I think it's competent. I think it does like the basics well, but I just don't think it's very exciting. To be honest with you, I think that's probably the main problem it has for me. It just doesn't have those like big moments. It doesn't have the like I don't know. You know when you're playing Titanfall and your Titan gets killed and you get flying up in the air and you're like, oh my god, this is fucking awesome. Or even if you're playing like Overwatch and you know you're getting your team together and then you all do your ults at once and you wipe the other team and you're like, oh, that's great. I know you've just done it in the last seconds to push the payload and you've wiped the other team because you've used all your ults at once. So it just doesn't really have those moments. The game it just kind of like consistently goes along. I don't think a lot of the game modes work particularly well with what it's trying to do either, which is a shame. I don't know if anyone. Do we want to just have a little Concord talk now? Because we've all played a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, I did my video, my little 5-minute video, and I basically said what you said. Really, it's the first weekend I really enjoyed it, and then by weekend 2, I was kind of like, yeah, there's not only is there no progression because this is a beta, but like, the loop is kind of done for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not progressing in any way. The game's pretty fun, but it's also, is it just because I'm playing it with my friends? You know what I mean? Like, if I play that on my own, am I going to be like, yeah, this is great? Yeah, it's just the inevitability that it's just not, I don't know, it's just not going to be a thing in 2 months' time, is it? So I'm just kind of like,
that doesn't help as well that you can see that on the horizon, because I think part of these games is always like the community and the hype around it in that sense, isn't it? Like you think when we were last year when we were playing AoE 2, Davey, we were fucking watching streams of it endlessly. We were watching the pros do tournaments. We were doing tip videos. We were, you know what I mean? There's the hype of the community is always a part of it, and you can already see that just isn't gonna exist. And you're like, oh god, can I be bothered with this? Not really.
No.
What about you, Pengi? I'm sure you're probably more positive than me, though.
Yeah, I'm still quite positive. Like, I played some more after we played the beta, and I think I've now played 10 hours. I haven't played any more since Thursday, though. Mainly, like what Dave's saying, like the lack of progression. Like, I've got to level 16, but really level 14's the cap in the beta to get. I think it's like a tangerine skin for one-off sort of thing. Which is fine, but that's not going to carry on over to the main game, thing and stuff. And that's like we saying that's like one of the things. Like if I had the main games, like the progression of like getting the new skins. Like I really want the new skin for like Lennox or whatever, and obviously it would have trophies, etc. and stuff to aim for. But it's like a weird one thinking multiplayer, and I didn't do it in the news because none of us are really bothered about Warframe and stuff like that. They were talking to those devs, and they're like, "Oh, these big AAA publishers, like they all want to, the free-to-play multiplayer dollar, but then they do the game and it dies, and they cancel it and lay off people, and they need to stick to it. Like look at our Warframe game; it's been going for 12 years or something now. Thing, but yes." Weird, like the state of multiplayer. I was talking to a guy in work today, and like how you mentioned, go back to Overwatch. And I did go back and play some Overwatch 2 on PS5 ages ago. Now I've got like 2 trophies on it because obviously it's a new trophy list. And it's like, yeah, thing. And I know you said about Valorant, but like Concord, weirdly, I know we had a new Halo. Like makes me want like a new Halo multiplayer or something like that. Or remember when we used to get like Tomb Raider? We even got a video, I think, a day for us playing on Stadia where it's multiplayer. Like, weirdly, nothing seems to have multiplayer anymore. It's either the weird free-to-play stuff, and that's like apart from like COD. That's like the only multiplayer shooter I can really think of that you buy and like money. It's like where's like the multiplayer games gone?
Well, no one.
They've been killed by free to play, haven't they? That's the thing.
I mean,
that's the reality of it.
Because even Warframe, Warframe, it's not as old, I don't think, as Fortnite, and Fortnite is much bigger. You know what I mean? Like you with a free to play game, you have to have an established. You have to have an established fan base to get a game. So, like, the only example I can give you is Riot, because obviously I've been playing a lot of Riot games recently. So when they introduce they've introduced a new mode in League that's basically Vampire Survivors, that's 4-player co-op, and it's got its own progression system and stuff. But they've included that as part of League of Legends. It's part of that same so League of Legends players can just, it's part of an update. You can just play it, and then they'll spin that off into its own game. Or they're making a fighting game at the minute. Again, but the reason that people will play it is because it's Riot. Whereas the only reason that you would play a Concord game is because it's Sony, right? In old money, but like you said, like Sony, and I guess makes the same game. So it's like
we go back to Uncharted 2 or Last of Us Part 1, where it had factions. Oh, you're playing that because you're buying The Last of Us. Or Uncharted is just like.
Whereas now, kids are playing Fortnite and Apex Legends. I
know Craig said it last week, and it's a bit boomery. I just want to buy my multiplayer game and play my multiplayer game. And then back in the day, it used to be a mode in games like Space Marine as a multiplayer mode. Like that's most probably like the thing. It's got a cool thing. It's gonna have a single player campaign. Here's the multiplayer mode, and it's just there. It is. I paid my £50 or whatever, and I get the whole thing.
Yeah, but the problem is that won't be sustainable. And even then,
basically, like 500 people will be playing that.
Yeah, and even then,
and it will die. And then it's like, well, it's not worth the development cost to make it.
And the only reason that Space Marine's doing it is because it is one of the most established IPs. It's not like it's a random game. Like if you want to play, because the first game had multiplayer as well, and it was like Space Marine versus Chaos Space Marine. Like Warhammer's a massive franchise. Yeah. If they really wanted to make a multiplayer game, they would have made a free-to-play multiplayer game. It's just like they'll do some sort of DLC plan for it to keep people playing because they like the series, right? But like you said, it's even like Halo. Like Halo, me and Craig promoting this. It's a multiplayer game first. It's not. It's you download the campaign as an add-on, but even that is a free-to-play game that they've put on PC. You know what I mean? They've had to, and that's Halo. The only reason that people played it is because it was Halo. If it had been called J-Lo, starring Jennifer Lopez, then no one would have played it, would they? So that's Concord's biggest problem is that, and Craig said it in his chats about it, that Overwatch, they gave you time to fall in love with the characters. So the characters got you in there. You knew it was Blizzard, you knew it was going to be high quality, and that's why you played it. Whereas Concord, the characters are forgettable, to be honest with you.
Very bad. Very bad.
And it's like the worst part, like, so like you're already onto a lose then. They've not built them up as well because you're just not interested in what they have to say because you don't know who they are.
Literally, you can compare the Overwatch have a new hero coming soon, a new support hero, and the hype of that hero is pretty big. People is very excited about this new character, the character design, the kit it's got, the way it's been built up. Like that's how you do it essentially.
Like League of Legends has got a new character launching called Aurora. That's either just launched or launching this week, and there has been 4 or 5 videos. They've done their whole battle pass for all of their games. It's linked to this character. Like everything about this character. They've got a little vignette. Like you know what I mean. Like people are excited. But again, I know it's an established game, but it's like I just feel like Concord is just. I think Concord, in all honesty, is 5 years too late. If Concord, because if you look at the other one that's similar, and I've said this before, is Destruction All Stars, because that is a similar type of thing where it's a very different game, but like it's a first party multiplayer game, and the game itself was good. It ran well, it looked good, but again, you weren't fussed about the characters, and it just becomes Bleeding Edge, similar game. Like it's so similar. It's the core game's great, like, but that's not good enough anymore. Like you have to have this build. Like that's why Power World is successful and Concord won't be. I mean, Concord could be one of the biggest flops of this generation, the way it's going. Like we're talking about, what was the one that you played? There's Godfall and Babylon's Fall and all these like.
Oh, I played Babylon's Fall. I never played Godfall, but I did play Babylon's Fall.
These games just died a death, and it's like I feel bad because obviously this game has been in development for a while, and the writing was on the wall 3 years ago, but this year in particular with stuff like Suicide Squad as well. Like there's just no hope for these type of games unless they are viral, and Concord isn't viral, and it just isn't gonna be. So it's like I said in my video, like I hope they somehow manage to pivot it in the next 6 months, or even if it's just putting it on PlayStation Plus Premium and being like, right, let's try and get 10,000 people playing it via Premium to keep the game going long enough so it can get popular, you know what I mean? Because it does take to the point of the Warframe devs, like if you can keep that game alive with content and goodwill for 6 months, you never know.
That's what they were saying. That they were like mainly on about all the layoffs and how these big companies just do that. It's where they should be like investing in the game and try to get it, off the ground.
But I
think the difference there, especially, will be. You think when Warframe originally came out, the budget that would have had to originally been made would have been absolutely minuscule compared to Concord's budget right now. And I think that's probably what will, it may be easier to sustain it, Warframe back then when the cost of development wasn't as high.
Like it was a PS4 launch title, like what was there to play on the PS4 at launch, etc.
And it came to Switch, it was like PC, like it's, whereas like Concord is on PlayStation 5, which you have to pay £35 for, or it comes to Steam, which you have to pay £35 for. Now, the Steam numbers of the beta were disgustingly low.
Yeah.
And PlayStation, they've already had to open it up to PlayStation Plus users. So I would guess they were pretty low as well. So it's kind of like, ooh.
There's currently 1,077 people playing on Steam.
On Steam, right?
And you think right now it essentially is free to play, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's saying, "I'll make it free to play. That's going to save it," but that is essentially what it is right now on Steam, and people still just don't seem interested.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, put it on Plus, give it content alongside games like Helldivers. Give it 6 months and see if you can organically grow it. And I think they could. They have the ability, but they have to really want it. And they have to accept that it's never going to be Fortnite, but it could hit like that kind of like 20th, 30th on Twitch thing if they're consistent with it and the content's good. Because ultimately, good content is what every game needs, right? And the base content is good enough, but you really need to be like Craig said, like you've got to be hyped for the next character. If they're going to be like, okay, well, we've got a character coming out in September, here's this huge thing for it, then you could get people in, but I just think
you're just pouring money into it at that point, aren't you?
But it's also like,
at what point do you go right? Yeah. You cut your losses at some point. So I imagine that's going to be the conversations that they're going to be having tomorrow already. Is how do we lose as little money as possible right now?
Well, it's also about the image, because the problem with a first party doing this is if Sony turns around and goes, right, no more content for Helldivers, no more content for Concord by the end of 2024. You ain't going to touch the next game they make that's multiplayer, because you're like, well, it's not going to be around in 6 months. What's the point? So you completely write yourself into a corner, even if it's a completely different type of game, even if they put out a free-to-play racing game. Like, you are not going to touch it if they keep closing all their games early, because why would you? Why would you waste your time and money? Like, why would you pay into a battle pass if you don't think the game's going to be there? Because, like, for all of Halo Infinite's faults, they have put a lot of time and money into it, and like. You know what I mean? Like, you'd buy the next one, or like a much better example is No Man's Sky, right? Like, No Man's Sky's was absolutely awful when it came out, and they've put free update after free update and free update. Now the next game has got the hype it deserves because people trust them. You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say, Halo Infinite is a good example, because I think at launch, even though I played tons of it, I don't think people were that keen on it, and then obviously they've tweaked it with battle passes and new maps and stuff, and it has found like much more of a player base. From forums I'm aware, I totally dropped off it, and like you guys didn't play it really at all, sort of thing. That's
Halo started off hot though. Like Halo, when it's free to play launched, it started off really hot, if I remember rightly, right, Craig?
Yeah, people love that online, didn't it? I feel like the reception was basically campaigns like okay-ish, but the multiplayer's amazing. It was kind of that launch, wasn't it? And the problem was the battle pass, and it took too long to get the
I know. I just remember. I remember there was problems, and they fixed it. And like, Halo's like really good now. So sort of thing. But I just think it's like weirdly, obviously, taking Halo like next. Is it next year? We're thinking Gears. Was it the years? Like, it was like that have a multiplayer mode, and like even though we know nothing, and sort of like I'm kind of excited for that, because like. It'll be a complete thing. Like, I don't want all the free to play bollocks sort of thing these multiplayer games have. That's the one thing I do like about Concord. It's just
Yeah, it's difficult because
Well,
they probably should you're just an old man, Pengi. That's the problem.
or I
It's
might
just like,
really get into COD because it's going to be on Game Pass, half my single player, and there's the multiplayer, and I don't know. And I got like all the battle passes that I don't really know. I've not really been a COD player for quite some time. But yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, we'll see, but I don't think it looks great for Concord. But have you played or bought anything else, Grego?
No, yeah. So that was it for PlayStation. And then on the Xbox, I've finished Immortals of Avium's Boys.
Woo!
That took me. I'm just looking now, just under 18 hours. It's a very fun game. I would say the story is such nonsense. It's just you get to the point where you're just like, what the fuck? All the characters are very odd, and some of the writing in the game is very strange as well. It has some very odd humor going on. It's like it's trying to do this like serious this very serious like sci-fi story, and then it's just like it like turns into like The Office writing for a bit. And you're like, what the fuck did that just come from? But the game is very fun in itself. I did enjoy playing it. So it's one I would definitely recommend if you are looking for like a shooter that's a bit different at the moment. I believe that's like Studio's first game as well, right? Is it Ascendancy or something like that? The studio's called Ascendant Studios. So yeah, I'd be interested, definitely to see what they do next as well, because yeah, I feel like there's plenty that they can build on there. Other than that, I've just played a bit more Diablo, which we talked about earlier. But absolutely loving Diablo. My fucking Necromancer's a god. I love the build I got going on at the moment. It's great shit. So but just explosions everywhere, just shit blowing up all over the place. It's great. And then other than that, I'm literally looking now. Oh, I've played A Short Hike, which I got the completion for, boys.
Nice.
Which was completion number 62. Which I believe obviously Penguins has played as well. It's a bit of a pain in the ass completion, I'll be honest with you. It's a very okay sort of game. It kind of reminds me a bit of the Tourist. And it's like it's kind of like you've just kind of like a little adventure game. I think I played it. I just kind of played it through. You basically just you're climbing up a hill or a mountain essentially.
You're going on a short hike. Great.
Yeah. And to do that, you've got to get golden feathers to help you climb and jump more. Essentially, I think I did the normal game about an hour and a half. And then I was like, oh, it's got a high completion percentage. It just shouldn't be too bad. And then I saw I think is it the Welsh Hunter, I think he's called on YouTube. He does a lot of does like Macca guides sort of things. Had an hour and a half video for the completion. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. So I started doing that, but it is a fairly painful completion. It only took me 5 hours by the looks of it to get it. But there's a fishing mini game, and there's a fishing achievement which is a pain. There's one for not collectibles, but you've got to water these little flowers, then the flowers turn into like jump pads essentially, and you got to get all 27 of them on the map. Annoyingly, the game doesn't have a actual map, which is a real pain in the ass for this, because it would have benefited it massively, absolutely massively. It's a very strange design choice not to have a map. But yeah, I think it was okay. I feel like it's ridiculously over-reviewed though. I'm literally looking as I talk now.
It was a Switch timed exclusive, and it's posted like a GBA aesthetic and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's an 87 on OpenCritic. That is mental. Because like I said, it's fine. It's pretty fun, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere near that.
I would think if you go onto Metacritic and you look at the platforms and stuff for it, I would expect. I'm gonna go do that right now. I expect the other platforms are much lower than the Switch version.
I will say it's very reasonably priced though, because obviously it is on Game Pass. That's how I played it, and that's why I played it as well, because it was leaving Game Pass. I've had it installed basically since it came to Game Pass and never got around to it. But it is £6.69 to buy. So for this sort of game, that's actually, I'd say, pretty reasonable.
It's got an 88 for Switch, an 83 for PS4, but only 6 reviews, an 82 on PC, and Xbox has only got 3 reviews, which is a 90, a 90, and an 80.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
they even liked it on Xbox. Xbox Talon gave it a 90. So my Switch bias thing was a myth.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I played is I've started Dungeons of Hinterberg, boys.
Nice. Game Pass, right?
Yeah, it's just Game Pass release from a couple of days ago. I didn't know whether to play this or the Path of the Goddess game first.
Or Flintlock, or Flock.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, but those two in particular to me look like the most interesting. But then I've listened to the official Xbox podcast, and they had the devs for this on it, and they were talking about the game and that, and it was like they were pretty sound devs, and they were hyping it up. Wow, in fairness, so I was like, I want to play this first. Actually, after listening to that, and I am pleasantly surprised. Like I don't know why I was very skeptical about this game. I thought it looked almost too ambitious for like a first time like indie game. It looked like it was trying to do almost too much, trying to be everything at once. But I think it, from what I've played so far, I think it nails a lot of what it's trying to do. I've done 3 dungeons plus the big like the starter baby dungeon. I think there's like, I don't know if it's 25 or 30, but there's quite a lot of dungeons basically. But the 3 that I've done so far, because like the first one, I went into the first one that isn't the baby dungeon, and I was like, oh, this is going to be like pathetic because it's the first dungeon essentially. And I was doing it, I was like, this is actually awesome. It's got like a little minecart puzzles going on it. It's got bits of combat, bits of platformers. So this is like, this is actually really well done and really well designed. And like all the dungeons I've done so far have been basically the same standard. They've been really, really good. It's got like a hub area in between where you do like sort of social links. You're kind of like your persona shit, I guess, where you choose who you're spending your time with, and then you'll get buffs from them essentially. So it might be you choose to spend your time with Jenny, and then Jenny will allow you to get more health. There's one called Thea, I think I chose because if you spend time with her, then you can unlock locked chests around the dungeons. I was like, oh, that seems pretty important.
Persona, Craigo.
Really yeah, but yeah, it's really good from what I've heard so far. The combat's, again, it's kind of like Kena, where it's fairly basic, but it's also like it's quite engaging and quite snappy and quite fun. The encounters don't take too long. You have pretty cool abilities I've already unlocked quite early on. So yeah, I've not played a huge amount of it, but from what I've played so far, it seems very, very good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of that. And that's finally it from me, boys. So yeah, quite a busy week.
Nice. Well, it's always good to hear you've been playing lots of video games, Craigo.
Yes.
Pengi, what about you, Sam?
So we already talked about Concord. So that was it for PlayStation. Nothing on Switch. Nothing on anything else. And then Xbox, I finished Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. So that is done. And I got all the pearls, so I did like all the like quests, I guess you would call them, in it. Wasn't going to, but I thought, I've only got like 10 pearls to go, sort of thing. I might as well do it more and get the achievement. So I got all the pearls, finished that. The last boss is very annoying. I was stuck on it for like ages, and I just think, right, I'm gonna go have dinner, come back, and then beat it first go. That classic thing. So that's that finished, and that is just wait another 16 years or something for Beyond Good and Evil and Beyond Good and Evil 2.
It's coming one day, Pengles.
Coming one day. Yeah, it's got new content in Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary, which links to Beyond Good and Evil 2. It might come one day. When? Who knows? And I also played a Game Pass game, a bit of a Game Pass, and I got a quick video up on the channel. It's only 3 minutes long because the Xbox only allows you to record that amount of time. And I've changed it to a chore on my channel thing. But started playing Flock, which is the first of like the 4 Game Pass games that come out this week, where you basically flying around on a big birds, like taming like animals sort of thing. It's got weird like I was gonna say. I know a lot of people compare it to Journey, but I think more Flower, because obviously in Flower you're a petal and collecting other petals, but in this you're collecting other animals and stuff like that. And you got some quests. They like you need to go to the marshland to see what animals in there and stuff like that. I don't know how long the game is. I don't think it's very long at all. And like most of the map looks like I've opened it already. I feel I only played for like an hour and a half or something. Yesterday of it, so that's what I'm gonna finish first, and then I do want to jump into one of the other free Game Pass games that are added. I might do Hindenburgers first or something as well. So talk about it alongside Craig. I do have another game
I
I've
think
got to
you're
play
gonna
on the
like
place.
it. I think you're gonna like Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like a penguin's getting to me.
Yeah, the whole like dungeon aspect and stuff like that. That's cool. There is another game I got to actually play on PlayStation, which I can't say what it is yet. So actually, that must be next. Then back to the Game Pass shenanigans, because I don't actually think there's anything I want outside like the PlayStation Game Pass games until August, and then it's mostly more like Game Pass stuff or Visions of Mana. So yeah, those two play. So that's played and then bought. I do have two pickups. One similar to Dave, not in the title, but it was an Amazon like deal. And also I was watching some Wimbledon. I picked up Top Spin 2K25, which I have not played yet on PS5. So I've got some Top Spin to play. I do like
an interesting choice. How much was that one, Pengi?
I think it was £38.
Oh,
Yeah, I do like a tennis game and stuff. And like I said, I was watching a bit of Wimbledon, and then I saw it was on Amazon on offer. But obviously Wimbledon's now finished and stuff. And I was like, yeah. But the Olympics is soon, so maybe I'll watch some tennis at the Olympics and want to play some tennis games and that. Then the other one is a bit of a weird sort of one, a bit of a story on this one. Is Inazuma 11 Go Lite for the 3DS.
it's easy for you to say, Pengos.
Yeah. It's actually the beta for the new ones on PlayStation and Switch at the moment.
It's Victory Road, I believe the new one's called.
Yeah, so this one, so I was looking at 3DS games on CEX and saw they had a game called 11 Go. No, not 11 Go. 11 Lux Lite listed. There's no such game as 11 Lux Lite. The closest to it is Go Lite. There was 20 quid difference. So I ordered this Lux Lite, seeing what it would be, and it was this Go. It was actually Go Lux, and it's actually a Spanish cover. And it is the cartridge says Light on it, so it was 20 quid cheaper than the other version. And on eBay, this still goes for 50-60 quid. This game, and I paid 20 for it. So, yeah.
Lovely. Is that everything, Pengi?
That is everything.
Nice. So, while I get this Coke Zero out of my throat, on what should we start with? On PC, I've just played more Teamfight Tactics. So I'm
waiting for you one day, say on PC I play Valorant or something, because you've now become a weirdo. Definitely
not playing that on the keyboard and mouse. I'm not an absolute wrong'un. Shooters are for controllers, boys. But yeah, I've been playing that. It's just like I said, I've been playing it while I've been in airports and stuff, and now it's just like one of those games I've been just playing. It's just a fun game. It's just a really well made, fun game. So, fair play to Riot for that. On the Nintendo Switch, I played some Mario Kart and Mario Party with Chloe, obviously, because we do all the time. Played Splatoon last weekend. My team won, Team Beach. So, Splatfest going well as always.
Is the next Splatfest the last one? Because it's the Grand Festival.
I don't know.
And they're making new amiibos and stuff for it.
Yeah, I haven't seen or heard anything. Yes or no regard that, Pengi, to be honest. In game they haven't said anything, so I don't know.
And they said 2 years of support, and it must be nearly 2 years old, that game.
Yeah, I suspect. I mean, Splatoon 4 will absolutely be on the Switch 2 next year, right? Or the year after, so But for now, I mean, I've definitely got my money's worth with that game. It's really, really good. And I've been enjoying it. And another game I've been playing on the Switch, I mean, this is going to be almost controversial, quite an underrated game. And that's Sonic Forces. I know I talked about this last week. I'm really close to the end. It's just like a really bog standard Sonic game, but it's not bad. It's not like broken like a lot of the other ones are. It's just like very basic. Like it's just almost like DLC for Sonic Generations. Like it plays very similar. And I'm enjoying it. It's just perfect for handheld. It's perfect for you just lying in bed. You want to play a game for half an hour because you can't sleep. So play some of that. And obviously I'm playing and still loving Luigi's Mansion 2. I think I'm on the second last mansion, and it's just a really fun. Again, it's a really fun game. It's difficult with Nintendo sometimes because it's just so like bog standard that the game is good. Like the game isn't broken, it isn't buggy. Like you know what I mean. Like that's the standard. So when you play cute ass game number whatever, it's not a surprise that it's good. I think that's why I think a lot of people will throw the mid stuff at it because it's like well you expected Luigi's Mansion to be a good Luigi's Mansion game, didn't you? And it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like expected COD to be COD. You're like, oh yeah, COD's COD. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion is it's a Nintendo puzzle adventure game, and it's really good. So there's that. On Xbox, I have only played Diablo with Craig and Valorant. Valorant is still amazing. I'm still terrible at it. But it's good. The deathmatch mode has helped a lot because it has respawns, so I've been able to get better with the characters I'm playing as because the powers are really important. And the more I play it, the less like Counter-Strike it becomes because I again, like I think what I said when I first
I guess a
played
deathmatch mode would be like that because I've not watched much of it. Like I've watched a bit of Andy play it from Kind of Funny, and it's like, oh, I've died and that's it, or now I'm coming back and now I'm buying my different type of gun and stuff, and I'm like, I can't be doing any of that.
It's really simple because my worry with games like that is that it becomes a meta really quickly because the reason I would never play League of Legends is I will never sit there and like learn the build for a character. Like I'm not sitting there watching 20 videos about how I get this item to this item to this item in the buying section of the game. I just don't have that kind of patience anymore. But Valorant is a lot, especially Valorant on console, is more like, right, well, these are your character's powers. Do you want to have those powers in every round? Or do you want to have them in certain rounds? You always buy a shield, and then you always buy whatever gun you're good with. Because I'm not very good with the sniper rifle, so I'm going to buy the AK-47 gun, right? But it's like it's not as deep as Counter-Strike that was like you really have to be super tactical about what you do unless you're playing high ranked. I'm playing ranked, but I'm lowly ranked. So like it's more like, say again, like I know that you guys have no interest, but if you jumped on and we play together, it's very straightforward. Like it's like, right, here, what character does what? Well, my character plays like Kenji from Overwatch, right? Can throw knives, blah 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 blah. Okay, well I'm going to be the character that throws the smoke up, like the character from Concord. The enemy can't see. It's like a 3-minute round, next round, kind of like the old Gears of War games. But it's incredibly polished for a free-to-play game. So I get why 25 million people play the game. Like I completely understand why it's one of the most watched games on Twitch. It's the gameplay loop is really addictive, and I didn't think it would get me, and it has got me. So like I'm like, I look forward to playing Valorant most evenings, but I've got to be concentrating because it's not like COD where you can, or even like Concord where you can just die and come back when you play in the proper mode. But it's a good game. It's one of those, like I feel like if you have any urge to play that type of game, it's a great game. If you don't, then you're not going to, are you? But yeah, it's kind of like it's really very hybrid between Counter-Strike and Overwatch, and it's the more I play it, the more Overwatch it feels, because it really is really important about the powers of your character as opposed to what gun you're buying in round 3, if that makes sense. Because you're either gonna hit a headshot or you're not. But I think the powers are probably what pay. You know, it has similar modes, but that's Valorant. Obviously, Diablo we're still enjoying. I've enjoyed that game the more we played it. I think when I first started playing it with you guys, I was kind of like, oh, this is a bit repetitive and boring. But I've got a really fun build with my character now, and I'm really enjoying the kind of wading in with my like pinwheel of death that I call it for Craig, and then just bashing the big enemies while Craig's just exploding the little ones around us. And it's a really fun loop.
It's just so playable, isn't it? It's just such a like you just put it on, you're just fucking slaying shit.
Well, for us, it's like
you can just like you could even have a podcast on, or we could just be chatting away. Yeah. It's just such a such a like easy game to just like have fun with.
Yeah, as 30-plus-year-old men with full-time jobs, it's a perfect game to have a catch-up with your mates. Because like this last week, obviously, I've had a lot more time at home alone than I have previously. It's just been nice to have an hour and a half chat with Craig every night. Like, I know that sounds really weird, and people could be like, "Oh, you're so gay," but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice to have a chat with your mate about how you know what I mean? Like, you come in from work, you've been at work all day. Like, it's nice just to be like, "Oh yeah, how was your day? Oh yeah, it was shit. Like, the milk's gone off." Like, "Oh yeah, mine was shit. I was just updating database all day and then talking crap about Trump for like an hour." Like, it's a really good feeling, like we used to do with games on the 360 and the Xbox One and stuff. Like, it's the first game in a while that we like, certainly we've had, obviously me and Craig play a lot of co-op, but like, it's been really good to just be like, right, I'm gonna go here and hit this guy in the face, you're gonna go and hit this guy in the face, and not think anything of it. But yeah, it's like the gameplay loop's really good, to the point of which, like you guys were talking about earlier, like I'm also really tempted with the DLC, because it's, if I'm financially okay to do it in October, like the game's pretty fun. Like, I've even, like, when we finish it, I'm like, oh, do I start a seasonal character in a different class for the next?
Oh, when I was listening to that Rob Ferguson interview, I was the same. I was like, I could just see how people lose their fucking lives to this game, because it's just so, like, it's so easy to just, like you say, it's just so playable. And I was like, oh yeah, could it be like a whole new game if I was playing like a sorcerer or something like that? And I was watching them play as a sort, and I was like, oh, this is, I can exactly see how you end up with fucking 400 hours in Diablo.
Exactly,
really
doing a different run, and like the seasonal bosses and the world bosses and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, like, if the game's still fun in October, like, and one of us breaks, the other one will. Like, that's kind of how I know it's going to be, because the core game's on Game Pass, you're not paying over the odds for it. Like, I'm kind of already sat there kind of like, well, October's game at the minute, I think, is Mario Party. I think is the game I'm buying in October. So I'm kind of just like, well, if Craig turns around and says he's bought the DLC, and I've only been playing Valorant for the last 3 months, other than Diablo, I'll probably buy it and be like, well, it'll be fun for us to play until Christmas. Oh, there's a new season out, right? Me and Craig will start a new character. I'm always the bashy character. I'll be a bloody mage or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's the same. It's October 8th. It's the same day as Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yep, so that doesn't.
So I can't imagine it's going to bother you too much, Davey. Metaphor is a couple of days later, but again, I don't know if you really want to pay for a massive game like that. New World Atrium's the 15th. I know you were somewhat interested in that. Obviously, you said Mario Party, and then there's stuff at the end of the month. Obviously, you got COD at the end of the month, and Life is Strange. So it's not actually, October isn't that bad at the moment. But obviously, you've still got games that need dates, haven't they, for this year?
Yeah, so. And I think from that list, like New World, I know I'm going to be sent a code, so I'll probably play it and be like, okay, this is fun, or it's not. But it's also like, I know I'm going to play it and be like, well, this would be great if there was friends. Oh, there's no friends. I'll just play Diablo where there are friends, because they're the same game almost, but one's top down, one isn't. So it's kind of like they've tried to make Diablo very MMO-y. So, but yeah, we'll see. And then the only other console I own, Craigo, is, well, I own the VR too, but that poor thing is just charging at the minute until I stop having a cold. But PlayStation 5. So my one pickup is PlayStation 5. It came today. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It hit my good price. Willing to pay for scale that I have during Prime Day. I think it was £46. Which I'm like, I'll play and I'll make that money back. So yeah, it's come today. I've literally just unwrapped it. I haven't even put one of it's got 2 discs, which is mental, but I haven't even turned the PlayStation on yet. To do that, I'll install that tonight and I'll get to it eventually. The main game I've been playing on PlayStation 5, Craigo, may surprise you, and that is the PlayStation 2 classic Star Wars Episode 2 The Clone Wars. That's what I've been playing, and it's fun. It is stupid, early thousands movie game fun. So, do you remember playing this, Craig, back in the day?
I don't know if I ever played it.
You've watched Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
The
movie, yeah, the movie.
Yeah, the middle film. Yeah.
What kind of game would you expect this to be?
A hack and slash, or a first-person shooter.
So it is Twisted Metal.
Okay,
it's
so
essentially a vehicle combat game. It has there is on foot, but it's almost like you're driving the person who has a lightsaber instead of a gun. You throw the lightsaber. It is the most stupid fun, and so when I was younger, I played the multiplayer a lot with my friends, because it was, like I said, it was basically Twisted Metal. Like, you drive around, like, you've got drive or fly around depending on what mode you're playing, and you've got the separatist weapon, like the droid vehicles, and you've got the Jedi vehicles and the bloody clone vehicles and stuff, and you just blow stuff up, right? You've got whatever. The campaign is just like, okay, this is what we need you to do, like follow this marker, kill all these people, like we're doing the Battle of Geonosis, like blow up all these ships before they take off, and you've got these weapons and these silly boosts. It's just a like dumb ass arcadey like vehicle combat game, and I'm really, really enjoying it because it's just a good type of game that they don't make anymore. And obviously it's part of the premium package, and I think I said this to Pengi, like I will do a video at some point in the next couple of weeks that is basically like, in my opinion, that premium upgrade is finally worth it now, because there's so many good classic games here now, with trophies, with save states, with rewind, and like, so even like the like classic golf games, the fact that you can rewind when you do a bad shot, and like, you know what I mean, like it's the platinum is basically play the whole game, get as many of the bonus objectives as you can, and then watch the behind the scenes stuff. And you know as well as I do, Craigo, being a big Lord of the Rings DVD fan, the making of for like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings has always been really good. So like, I'm actually looking forward to watching the making of for this game when I unlock it. And it's like, there's a lot to be said, I think, in 2024 when you play a game like Concord that's like almost produced by committee for how it's going to be and how it's going to play, and like you almost make yourself depressed with like how you know it's just not going to do well, to then load up a game that's over 20 years old that asks you to drive to point A, mashing the X button, blowing stuff up with the classic Star Wars music and the John Williams score, and you know the game loads up with the Star Wars crawl, and you're just like, oh, this is nostalgia, this is childhood, and it's just a really fun experience. And like like I said to Chris as well, like there's a lot of PSP games, like we talked about Jeanne d'Arc and Daxter last week, and it's like, well, if they're going to keep putting out, like they've got episode 1 and episode 2 on here now, so if they're going to give us Revenge of the Sith as well, like I'm actually looking forward to playing that game with trophies and like an resolution and stuff. I'm just like, oh, it's weird that like I've been really out of modern games every now and then, and it's like I just love playing these retro games. I just haven't played them in a long time, so it's like having an easy way to play them, especially with stuff like trophies and that, and it's part of a subscription. It kills the time between big releases, which is really cool. But yeah, I really recommend Star Wars: The Clone Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, that premium upgrade is now incredibly worth it, because there's a lot of Star Wars games on there. But yeah, Clone Wars is, if you've got 5 hours and you just want to play a game that's fun, like I really highly recommend it, especially if you liked Star Wars when it was not woke and weird. But yeah, that's what I've played. I don't think I've played anything else. I suspect you may hear some Final Fantasy talk next week. I've actually managed to avoid a lot of stuff about this game. I don't even really think I've seen it played. The only thing I've seen is Tifa's tits in like every cutscene, because it's like they're quite prominent, aren't they, Chris?
So you want to see it, eh?
Yeah, and obviously you got when they go to the seaside,
the beach, and they're like in bikinis, right? Yeah, that's all I've seen.
You got to pick out her bikini and stuff, yeah.
So I know that Craig's going to
borrow. You took some time there, I'd imagine, didn't you, boy?
Yeah. 200 hours it says in that one section, of course. But, this is one of those where, like, if Craig does manage to play the first one at some point, like, he can probably borrow this before I sell it. But so we can actually have a game we all have an opinion of. But yeah, that's me looking forward to playing that. But yeah, I've got to finish Star Wars: The Clone Wars first, which is tonight probably.
Looking forward to that. If you actually play it and finish it, being like third on the Game of the Year list at the end of the year.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to Chris Pengelly and go in knowing. But I mean, my plan is to get this done before Astrobot, and then play Astrobot, and then see, and then in almost a sneaky way, PlayStation's had quite a good year, I think, by then. If I enjoy this, obviously I'm not going to assume I will, but we'll play it and see, give it a fair shout, right, Craig? But yeah, very interesting time. So that's our week. It's a shorter week for us. I mean, I think in the end there's some passionate rants. But if you got this far, comment Pengels loves Senran Kagura, and to let us know you got this far. Obviously, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Next week, we have no idea what we're going to be talking about, but I'm sure it will be thrilling, don't you think, Craigo?
Oh, definitely. I think we certainly just talk about what bikini you boys picked, really.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I record it. But yeah, until then, download Valorant, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.